We're getting set here for the partner forward race between the Sharks in green and the Brigade in blue. Opening up partner forward, you're going to see a male and a female on the floor at the same time. Okay, they're going to be performing these same exact movements. You see here a single dumbbell pistol thruster. Right, so they're using that weight, 40 pounds for the men right now. You'll see Jess Chrisman waiting in the ranks on the right-hand side of your screen. She's going to be waiting for her partner to finish. Once that partner finishes, you're going to see them switch. However, you cannot continue working until your partner is in that hash mark you see on that right-hand side of the Brigade screen. Once the partner's in that hash mark, as long as they're in there, you can work and those reps will count. You'll also see some switches here and now. These teams can switch in between. They must run all the way down the side of the hash marks and back so they can switch out players. Right now, Brigade and Sharks. Sharks edging out the Brigade just so slightly on these overhead squats. They began with 8 reps of each element in quadrant number 1. You're going to see those big numbers throughout the races on the middle of the grid floor. That's going to designate the quadrant. There's 4 quadrants amongst a grid floor. You have Gomez for the Sharks in green right now. 6 reps of that single dumbbell pistol thruster. As you go down the quadrants, we're in quadrant number 2 now, the repetitions of each element will go down. However, come on now, the weight's gonna go up. We gotta make it a little bit more challenging here, a little bit more exciting as we get started with this first race here through 1 quadrant. Kresman in the blue for the Brigade as the Sharks continue their slight lead into those 6 overhead squats for Gomez in green. He's going to switch it off to his female counterpart, and no! They're going to call him back. That was a fault. You're going to see, we have those referees on the floor. They are trained to spot the faults and to call these teams out on it. No cheap reps here on the grid floor, and that opens up the door as the Brigade are the first on a quadrant number 2 as Ricky Morgan brings them into quadrant number 3. 4 repetitions now of each element, and that weight has gotten heavier. And Anderson first up in quad 3 for the Sharks. Oh, and a fault there for Morgan. He did not control it on the way up. He was hopping around. They counted that one. Here comes Davenport. We got Davenport for the Brigade, Clark for the Sharks in green, knocking out those pistol thrusters. And both men to the overhead squats at the same exact time. Looks like 185 pounds on that barbell for the 4 overhead squats for the men as they switch off to the ladies. Davenport and Clark knocking out those overhead squats. And the first out of quadrant 3 is the Brigade. Not far behind is Anderson and the Sharks. Ricky Morgan, 1 down. Ricky Morgan, Anderson, they'll get 2. No, and a fault for Anderson, opening up the door, allowing for Davenport to get to that dumbbell first. Can Clark catch up for the Sharks? Here comes the overhead squats for Ricky Morgan. Looks like 205 on that barbell. Ricky Morgan threw it all. All that's left is Davenport. 2 overhead squats, and the Brigade will open up this race with a win in partner forward. Few seconds behind, the Sharks will come on in as we go through these races today. Race number 2, we got the mare. Strength specialists get to shine here on this race. We're going to go hang, clean, and jerks. We got a total of 10 reps in each and every single quadrant. Once that barbell comes up, as you see these teams have the barbells up, that barbell cannot touch the ground. Teamwork comes into play here. As the team, your other counterparts will act as human racks to help transport that weight from quadrant to quadrant. Hang, clean, and jerks right now. Noel Lecca for the Brigade in blue. Sydney Witter right in front of him. They're going head to head right here. Can the Sharks catch up? They were a little slower on quadrant number 1. As these teams finish, they must wait for both the females and the men to finish. Then they can transfer that barbell over to the next quadrant. If that barbell touches the ground, the entire team must go back to the start line and then back to the barbell and continue, and you can pretty much count yourself out of this race. We've got Schultz and Clark for the Sharks in green. Brigade slowing down just a little bit. Opening the door. Opportunities for the Sharks right now to get back into this race after one race win by the Brigade. Can the Sharks match them here? Looking to transfer the weight, and a fault here. Not necessarily a fault, but just a fail by the Brigade. Derek Anderson is moving right in front of him. You got Valerie gunning. They're going rep for rep, and they are looking to take the mirror race and tie this all back up after 2. Hands are up by the referees. Few more reps for these Sharks. Anderson gunning. Bring it home, and the Sharks will take the mirror. You see Francisco Gomez excited. The Sharks able to tie this up early on in this match. You've got Davenport Morgan finishing up for the Brigade. They'll get their 1 point. They'll get their 1 point after 2. It's all tied up at 3 apiece. And now, we got the ringer point race. We're getting started now with the Sharks ringer point race, and that's going to be 4 rope climbs, 4 time. Riddle lined up for the Sharks, and Witter lined up for the Brigade. And the ladies are off, heading over to the ropes. 4 rope climbs. First to 4 wins. That's it. That's simple. It's fast. It's quick. Do not blink, because you're going to miss it, folks. Coming up on 3 for Riddle. She has 1 more to go. Witter trying to catch up. Can Riddle take the ringer point race? And she does. And that's going to give the Sharks 2 points after 3. And again, head coach Nick Gavich knew what he was doing, picking the ringer point race for Riddle as we go on to the Echoes. Gomez starting up for the Sharks. Opening up for the Brigade is Kresman. So again, Echoes, how they're going to work. Little bit of change from past seasons. Males and females going at this right here, right now. The males opening up with squat snatches, while the females will go ahead and perform squat cleans. 70 pounds on that kettlebell. We are working for a total of 30 reps in this element until we move on to the next element. We got some bodyweight specialists coming in. We're going to have some deficit-free handstand push-ups, but first, we're watching Gomez and Kresman go rep for rep on that 70-pound kettlebell. Interesting strategy. Do you start with the male on the squat snatches, or do you start and try to chip away as much as you can with a female on these squat cleans? Interesting. I don't have an answer for you. That's why I'm behind the booth and not on the sidelines as a coach. Easy peasy. But we got Lekka and Gunning on the floor right now. In quadrant number 1, it looks like the other team, both teams have already sent their bodyweight specialists out to quadrant number 2 to get set up for the freestanding handstand push-ups. Looks like you're going to have Ambrioso. You can see him in the back of the screen on the Brigade side getting set up for the Sharks. We'll wait and see who the Brigade have set up for their free handstand push-ups. I'm trying to see. Looks like Oxenford. Looks like Oxenford is set up for the Brigade. 15 total freestanding handstand push-ups here in quadrant number 2. We got a 1-point lead early on in this match as the Sharks leading the Brigade 5-4. As I said earlier in the opening of this match, year after year that I've called these matches, called these races, the Sharks have inched closer and closer and closer to the Brigade. And ladies and gentlemen, they smell the blood in the water. They believe that today is their day to finally get a W over the Tampa Bay Brigade. As we have Ambrioso started the handstand push-ups, and he's going to start the muscle-ups right now. But these aren't just any muscle-ups, ladies and gentlemen. It's 15 total muscle-ups with a 6-pound medicine ball in between your legs. And let me tell you, these players are athletes. They are athletes. So the weight doesn't really bother them. It doesn't faze them. But what's going to get them is the awkwardness. The awkwardness of that ball in between your legs. And on top of it, you're thinking about the muscle-up movement, locking out, getting over onto the rings, but you're also thinking about squeezing that ball out so it doesn't fall. Because if it falls, you're opening up the doors, you're giving an opportunity to the other team to move through it, move past you. And just as they did right there, Derek Anderson moving on to quadrant number 4 for the final movement in this race. And that's going to be 15 thrusters, squat clean thrusters for the men, power cleans for the ladies. And we've got 205 pounds on the bar. Going back and forth, Anderson started off for the Sharks in green. He's going to continue right here as the Brigade in blue trying to chip away as much as they can as that male counterpart comes on over into quadrant number 4. Again, this was a race with just a mixture from a strength specialist standpoint to a bodyweight specialist standpoint, and even your utility players really come into play here. Where can they fit? Where can they squeeze in? Where can they help chip away? Just like right here, Kevin Schultz for the Sharks in green, knocking out those thrusters. We got a few more reps, 2 reps left for the Sharks. Can they finish it up? Riddle and Schultz on the floor in quadrant number 4. And the Brigade, out of nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I was looking at the Sharks. I thought they were moving great there. But the Tampa Bay Brigade just chipped away and chipped away. And we are all tied up at 6 apiece. As guess what? We get to rerun that race one more time. So all tied up, rerunning that echo one more time. And it looks like Cressman starting it up for the Brigade again with the squat cleans. She opened it up in race in the first echo, opening up here in the second echo. Sharks choosing to go ahead and change things around. I believe Gomez was the one that started it in echo number 1. Schultz here. He was there in quadrant number 4 at the end of echo 1. So little rest time for him, but he's back on the floor right now, opening up echo number 2. We'll see if this change in strategy and this change in plan works out for the Sharks. Again, all tied up at 6 as we get into this race right here. Lecca going over to the squat snatches. We'll see if he can finish it out. Cressman got him far enough in that last echo race that Lecca was able to finish it up for them. Kevin Schultz right now, he's going to hand it off to Valerie Gunning, and we see Quentin Ambrioso making his way all the way back to the handstand push-ups in quadrant number 2. So it looks like Gunning, the plan is for Gunning to finish all these reps. It looks like Lecca's going to do the same right now as you see Chris Garrard in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen telling that female counterpart in quadrant number 2, get ready. Is it going to be Oxenford again? Lecca is almost done. Ambrioso on, and so is Oxenford. We got Oxenford and Ambrioso. They were the first 2 on the handstand push-ups in Echo 1. First 2 here in Echo 2. Looks like you got Clark waiting to relieve Ambrioso, and Siofi was there to relieve Oxenford, and she falls over, but she goes back up, and she can't. Siofi's going to have to come relieve her. Nope, she's going to do it. Oxenford, a few more reps for her. Clark's going to go ahead and relieve Ambrioso. Siofi's ready, ball between the legs, and the Brigade first of those weighted muscle-ups. Nick Habich going over on those rings. Usually a utility player, strength specialist, you can say. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, big men can do gymnastics too. Siofi looking a little tired, playing around, fumbling around with that medicine ball. Again, it's not the weight that's going to bother them. It's the awkwardness and having to think about squeezing it as you're trying to do a complex movement as the muscle-up is. Riddle's on the rings for the Sharks. Now onto the rings for the Brigade. It looks like it's Witter. Yes, it is. Sydney Witter on the rings, trying to close this out and get to that 4th and final quadrant for the 4th and final element of this Echo race. Remember, Brigade took the first Echo race. They chose not to change the beginning of their strategy. Sharks chose to change it. Will it pay off? We got Ricky Morgan right now in quadrant number 4, opening up. Excuse me, that is not Morgan. It's the haircut. The haircut and the beard from my angle. Hard for me to see. But the Brigade first to that barbell. Riddle first over for the Sharks. And Gomez now onto that barbell. You'll notice ladies are doing just power cleans while the men are doing clean to thrusters. And Witter having trouble there. A little shocking to me, but again, she did do the muscle up, so that grip might be worn out when it comes to that 205 barbell. Riddle knocking these out as the Sharks trade their men. Morgan now on the floor for the Brigade. He is repping these bad boys out. Kevin Schultz, he tried to finish it out in that first Echo race. Looking to do the same here, partnered up with Riddle. We are in quadrant number 4. This place is getting loud, ladies and gentlemen. Can the Brigade sweep the Echoes, or can the Sharks take one of the Echoes from the Brigade? And Ricky Morgan, what happened there was a fault. Ricky Morgan, caught watching, opens the doors, and the Sharks run right through it and take Echo number 2. And right now, it's time for the strength specialist to really shine. By far, one of my favorite races in any Grid League match is going to be the ladder. Every match, there's a different element in the ladder. Today, we're going to have 2 deadlifts, and 1 clean. You're going to see, we're going to use those numbers again, okay? These ladies are off. We're going to use the numbers on the floor. Quadrant number 1, quadrant 2, 3, 4. There's a barbell in every single quadrant, and a successful lift of the element in the quadrant is worth that respective amount of points. So as you've seen, Clark has gone through quadrant 1 and 2 successfully. She now has 3 total points. Quadrant 1 was 1 point, quadrant 2 was 2 points. Looking to get another 3 points there, and she does so. If she clears the entire board, we're looking at 10 total points towards your team. At the end of the race, the team with the most points takes the race. Clark finishes up, and Clark was able to clear all 4 quadrants for the Sharks. Here comes Anderson in the green. We're on to quadrant number 3 for the Brigade in blue. Looks like we got there. Looking like 300 pounds on that barbell. Can't quite get it. Can't quite clear the floor for the Brigade. I'm telling you, one of these guys is going to clear that floor. I guarantee it. Derek Anderson. 275 on the barbell for Anderson. Witter on the floor for the Brigade. Anderson. 1 deadlift. 2 deadlifts. He's going to take a break. You can do that. Derek Anderson looking to clear the floor and can't quite get those elbows around. Witter right here. Able to get it up. And Witter will clear the floor for the Brigade. Gunning looking to do as her counterpart in Clark did and clear the floor. Ricky Morgan. If I had to put my money on somebody to clear this floor, it'd first be Noel Eka. Second, it'd be Ricky frickin' Morgan. As Valerie Gunning goes through quad 3, Ricky Morgan walks into quad number 3. Gunning, 1 deadlift. Gunning, 2 deadlifts. Valerie Gunning looking to clear the floor for the Sharks. Valerie Gunning gets under it. Valerie Gunning stands it up. Ricky Morgan, 2 deadlifts in. Ricky Morgan getting under it. And Ricky Morgan gets shot out like a cannon. Can't quite stand it up. Good thing my number 1 bet, if I were a betting man, was on Leka. But I got trust in Morgan. He's a strong guy. I also got trust in this guy, Francisco Gomez. Through quadrant number 2 with an easy power clean on that barbell. Going up to that 3rd quadrant with 275 on the barbell. Quadrant number 3 for the Brigade, easy peasy, lemon squeezy for their female player. On to quadrant number 4, looking to clear the floor, get 10 points for the Brigade. Looking to get 10 points for the Sharks. Brigade get their 10 points. Can Gomez get 10 points for the Sharks? Gomez can't quite get under it. Doesn't even try. We're moving on to the next one. My number 1 bet right here, Noel Leka. You have to spend a lot of money to make a little bit of money if you were a betting man, betting on Leka. But hey, money is money. And Leka's going to make some for us. As Riddle goes to get through quadrant number 3, Riddle's going to make an attempt for quadrant number 4. Leka with an easy power clean at 275 pounds. Riddle with an easy power clean, 195 pounds. Noel Leka, 300 pounds. Noel Leka Easy peasy. That man is strong. Kevin Schultz, another strong player on the grid. He's labeled as a utility player, but he's strong, ladies and gentlemen. Davenport gets through some quadrants. She skips a barbell. Garan a little surprised that she skipped it. Oh, she went over to 4. Instead of 3 points, she wanted to get 4 points for her squad. And that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for some more strategy. From the strength specialist to, I guess, some more strength specialists. And we're going to specify with grip strength. So, these gentlemen lined up, 205 pounds in each hand, and they are off. Ricky Morgan, those weights a little forward in the beginning. Nick Cabbage looks strong, and Ricky Morgan drops the weights. Nick Cabbage, oh my God. Put the team on your back, coach. Put the team on your back. Wow. And after 6 races, so we come into this Jack and Jill bodyweight specialist chance to shine. Brigade down by 1 with 2 races to go. Jack and Jill starts now as Siofi opens it up for the Brigade in blue. We got some hammer trouble over on the Shark side, but the Brigade side starting up strong. Same for the Sharks. You know, this is a race you can't really you can't really say like, oh, I've got the bodyweight specialist, so I'm gonna win this race. There's so much fatigue and so much work to do for these bodyweight specialists amongst this race that you can't just rely on those specific specialists to win this race. You need the utility players to come in, maybe even a strength specialist to do one little part, to give one little ounce of effort in this race so that the bodyweight specialist can give an extra few seconds to catch some resting and get those arms worked out, get the blood flowing. As Garand even coming in here for some of these handstand walks. They're going to go back and forth between quadrant number 1. Once again, Jack and Jill, you're going to have a female, male working on this together. Davenport, no, that was Oxenford, excuse me. Oxenford came down. Garand coming through. Ricky Morgan, I'm telling you, giving up something there as Gomez does the same as well, contributing to the effort here in this Jack and Jill race. Palumbo walking it down. Here comes Ambrioso. Now there's Davenport on the floor for the Brigade as she gets across that line in quadrant number 1. Quick short steps for the Sharks. Garand contributing here. There is Ambrioso. He's going to run back down. Looks like that's going to be their last effort for the beginning of this race. Nope, we got a few more to go for the Sharks. We can see who's next for the Brigade right now. Looks like Siofi. You see Siofi. He's getting that belt on there. Tying it up to that sled. He's getting ready for something as Schultz has that medicine ball in between his legs, and he's getting that handstand walk in. Hands it off to Gunning. Brigade walking it down. Brigade in blue on the right-hand side of your screen. Sharks in the green as they're on their way back to the start line already. Perfect timing for Ambrioso, who is making his way all the way down with that sled attached to his hips. Slight fall there, but Ambrioso, one of the bodyweight studs in the entire grid league, not only on the floor today, but in the entire grid league, ladies and gentlemen. If there's a few people in a bodyweight race that I'd want, Ambrioso is the top 3 on that list for me. Siofi, another one. If there's anyone that can get the Brigade back into this race as quickly as anyone can, it's going to be Siofi. One of the most valuable players on this Brigade team, in my personal opinion. All right? Don't at me. That's just my opinion. Ambrioso and Siofi, both some of the top 3 bodyweight specialists in the entire grid league. Right here, going head-to-head, and Ambrioso will take it for the Sharks. But I'm telling you, look at that. One minor hiccup, and Siofi would have taken that. But the Sharks take it in this case, and they're going to widen their lead as we go into the 8th and final race. It all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. Down by 2, the Brigade need a win to tie this up and send this into sudden death. Here we go. Gomez and Morgan opening it up for the teams in the beginning of this sprint relay. Throughout the way this sprint relay is going to work, okay? As soon as the last repetition of element is complete, whichever player completes the last element, they must go back behind the start line, 4-point touch. That's going to mean hands, feet behind the start line. They're going to sprint down to the finish line, and the next player can go into the next element, but they will be done for the remainder of the match. They cannot come back in. So you'll see some strategy as you did with both the Brigade. That wasn't Morgan that started out for the Brigade, but they switched guys. And look, you'll see the fault. No 4-point touch. That, I believe, the right foot did not cross the start line. Given an opportunity here for the Sharks, as you saw the strategy. Gomez did a good amount of those dumbbell burpees over the box, but he left about 2, so Clark can go in there, and she finished it. So you can go back to Gomez now. Right, we got Ambrioso and Siofi back-to-back again on these muscle-ups. Ambrioso finished it. Looks like Siofi's going to finish it as well. So both of them will be done for the remainder of the race. You got Davenport lined up. You've got Schultz for the Sharks in green on the left-hand side of your screen. Davenport on the right-hand side. You've got those single dumbbell pistol thrusters back into play here. 35 pounds on the dumbbell. We'll see what these teams, these players can do. If it's going to be Schultz to finish it out, if it's going to be Davenport to finish it out, or are they going to call on someone early on? It looks like Schultz is done. Yes. Schultz is done. So they'll go on to the next element, and it's going to be gunning with that handstand walk again with that medicine ball. This time she's going to go all the way down to the end of the floor. Davenport with some trouble. She finishes that final element, that final rep of the element, and she's going to hand it off to her teammate, who will go ahead onto her hands and go down. As she starts up, the Sharks finish up. Palumbo in for the Sharks. 4 triple touches for Palumbo. That's going to be a toes to bar, chest to bar, and bar muscle up as 1 rep. Few faults there I might have seen for the Sharks. Given a chance to the Brigade here. Again, these Sharks smell blood in the water, ladies and gentlemen. This is their chance for the first time in Gridley history to get the W against the Brigade. And the Brigade are done. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going into the final 3 elements of this race. You got the deck to squat over the box. That means, yes, you're going to do, you call it a burpee. We call it a deck. Chest to the deck. You land in, you must hit a squat, full depth squat, before you go up and over that box. As the Sharks finish it up, we got 2 elements remaining, ladies and gentlemen. We've got wall balls, and we've got some overhead squats. As Garand finishes it up for the Brigade. Sharks first to the ball. They got 1 rep. They got 2 reps. They got 3 reps. They got 4 reps. 4 reps before the Brigade get to the ball and start it up. So a 4-rep lead for the Sharks in green on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see both ladies going rep for rep on that left-hand side of your screen. Hands are up to show you they're almost done, just as I said that. Sharks are done. And let me guess, they're going to call in the closer, Derek Anderson. Brigade are going to call in the closer, Ricky Morgan. Anderson. Actually, no. Noah Lecca. Anderson, first to the barbell. Noah Lecca, second to the barbell. 2 reps. 3 reps for Anderson. That was 4 reps for Anderson. Excuse me. Derek Anderson bringing home the W for the Southwest Florida Sharks here at the Valor Fitness headquarters. The Sharks are going back home down south with a W.